Perfect. Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us, uh, Brother Jeffrey Muhammad out of Compton, California, who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. First of all, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, Brother Jeffrey, first of all, on behalf of myself, my family, and viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you again. My sister Naima sends the greetings, and thank everyone who's watching all across the country. The first question that we have for you, sir, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I first heard the teaching in 1992. And, I was actually in Los Angeles, California, brother. And I first heard it from a sister, Amina. Sister Amina. She's a sister that does all of the sews a lot of clothes for.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Out of LA. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so you heard the teachings, and what about that? What about hearing the teachings made you want to further your journey in Islam?
Oh, brother, there was a few things that actually led me up to it. If I can go ahead and explain,
please.
I had coming out of that life in LA, gang life and everything. I experienced a lot of death, but it was this one particular death that I had experienced from a friend of mine that wasn't involved. With him, I thought that, I was actually trying to get out of that life and we were going into a different lifestyle. And, but he was also murdered. And I was at a really low part of my life that when I was at a barber college and I was already reading the Bible. Didn't understand it, but I was reading it, as far as just like reading a normal book. And I actually came outside of the barber college and Sister Amina, her shop was right next door. And when she came out, I was actually outside, she came out, she saw some things on my skin and I'm like, and she noticed it. And she let me know that she had some oils that, that would help out with my skin problems at that time. And I said, okay, let me try it out. So she took me inside the shop and it was like, I heard a voice that she had the minister on and I was like locked into the TV as he was speaking because he was speaking names and things that I had read in the Bible. And he was going over different things and he was actually explaining them because I couldn't get an explanation from anyone. I would ask questions and people really couldn't give a thorough explanation, but he was actually doing this on this tape. And I asked her who he was and she told me with a big old smile on her face. And she was, I guess she was like happy that I was really into what she was playing. And she started telling me about different aspects of the teachings. And as soon as I went back inside the barber college, brother, I started reading, I was reading a local newspaper. And it was a brother that came up to me. He said, brother, this is the paper that you need. You know what paper I'm talking about, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was the Final Call. And reading the Final Call, it was going over some more things about what I was reading in the Bible. And at the back, it was the Messenger's column, and he was saying that I am that Elijah in the Bible, and I just got done reading about Elijah. And I was was totally fascinated. So I was always trying to figure out, what was going on. Only thing I really heard about any Muslims at that time, brother, was bean pies, honestly. That's all I ever heard, growing up. And I was trying to find what was going on with this that I was reading. So it actually, my brother-in-law's brother was a member. And when he saw me with the final call, he said, "You asked me, did I want to know more about it?" I said, "Yes, sir. I've been looking." And he actually brought me to the mosque, and that was it, brother. I heard Minister Samad, who was brother, Minister Jimmy X, their brother, and I was hooked. And then when I looked up, I looked over my right shoulder, in come a big, tall brother, and he saw me, and he gave that big old smile that he gives. You know what I'm talking about, brother Shaheed. And he came over and he shook my hand with them big, long hands that he had. I was hooked, brother, because he's a brother's brother. And the way the brothers were, they were very militant. You know how Shaheed had everything.
Yes,
they
sir,
were very militant. Every corner, brother, was hitting, and I was just looking at all of this, and I was just, brother, there was no other, don't turn it back for me, brother. No turning back for me then. I was hooked. They took me down and got me a suit, a wool suit, double-breasted at that time. We was wearing that back then.
Yes, sir.
Got me some snakeskin shoes. Brother, I ain't never been that clean. I was hooked, brother, from it all.
Beautiful. Okay, bro, Jeffrey, and thank you for your transparency, and thank everybody who's watching. But my sister Miriam and sister Naima both in the greetings. Another brother says, "All praise be to Allah, Big Jeff the Great." Praise be to Allah. Thank everybody who continues to like, share, subscribe to the People's Podcast. Okay, so Captain Shaheed was the captain over the brothers. Who was the minister? Who was the minister at the time in Los Angeles?
Minister Samad Muhammad. At that time, he was brother Jimmy X, Minister Jimmy X.
Man, okay, you teaching me. That's all you teaching me. Minister Samad. Okay, yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. All right, great. How did your family and friends feel about you accepting the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Well, there was some different emotions coming from it. My mother kind of was like upset about it. I mean, she said some things that if I ever try to come at her with with these teachings, that she was gonna slap the mess out of me, brother. She know I'm hard-headed though, so I'm gonna do it anyway. But my sister, my beautiful sister, she didn't know, she didn't care. She knew that it took me away from the lifestyle that I was actually going through, and that's what she was happy about. So it was different emotions. Everybody was happy to see that I was doing better but I was in and out of jail doing that. But I was just going through it, and they was basically just happy to see that I was on another route in life. So
yes, sir.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Well, speaking of the other route, Brother Jeffrey, what advice would you give to the younger generations about going to prison and/or jail, as far as some things that you've seen personally that would help us not wanting to go there?
What I would give is, you basically have to, look at the past. Everybody who's been doing the things that you're doing, where do it lead? I mean, you don't really see no big billionaires that come from this, from that lifestyle. You don't see anybody. You see them either die young or they're in jail for the rest of their life. That's all you see. So you have to make up your mind. What do you want to do? Where you want to go?
Yes,
As
sir.
you see, that's not the way to go.
Yes, sir. Beautiful.
And I can't tell everybody to where to change, because a lot of people, especially the younger generation, see the change that most people are trying to tell them to go as sellouts. So I can't tell them to go there, but I could just tell them to be real with themselves. Be real with themselves. Find out where you want to go that's positive and go there. And don't go stay where you are. Don't stay where you are, because a couple of places that you're going to go, and all of them are negative.
Mm. Beautiful, Brother Jeffrey. And Brother Jeffrey, there's a glare on the cameras there where you can come closer a little bit, Brother Jeffrey. We can't see your face now. It's like this.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, and thank everybody who seems to like, share, and subscribe to the People's Podcast. Okay, that's excellent, Brother Jeffrey. Beautiful. All right. My next question is, in the early 90s, I'm sure the Most High Missiles Farrakhan was coming in and out of Los Angeles and going on the West Coast tour, Stop the Killing and things of that nature. What was it like to have him frequent the city?
Well, during the Stop the Killing, I wasn't in the mosque at the time.
Mm.
I do remember, this is what I do remember, that a lot of my homies they were going, a lot of the older ones, they were going to see him. I heard through them about some kind of rally, and they were going. I didn't know exactly what it was. Like I told you, I really didn't know anything about Muslim, but the bean pie. And they were trying to get everybody to go. And I knew, I'll be honest, what my thoughts were at the time, that since they were leaving and going, the dope spot was going to be all mine. I just got to be honest, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I knew that everybody was coming. I would have to serve them. I was going to get all the money, brother. So I just got to be honest. So I do remember them actually going to something that was about that at the time it was the Stop the Killing. I do remember them actually going.
Okay.
So then a lot of them was prepared because we, it was Bloods where I was from, and they were, trying to, decide whether they want to go or not, because I knew they said it was going to be a lot of Crips there. So that was the big talk, but they went anyway. And they came back and they were talking about it. They enjoyed it. But of course, the thing still went on.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, yes, what about the Mean Man March? What was the climate like leading up to the Mean Man March, and how did it personally impact you?
Oh, brother. Of course, during that time, leading up to it, everybody, this is before the call, everything, you could hear on a lot of hip hop records at that time, and a lot of talk from conscious people from the 60s, from on. Everybody talked about 95. Everybody talked about 95. And this is where everybody thought the big revolution that everybody talked about was going to happen. If you listen to a lot of songs from PE, X-Clan, all these other groups at the time in 92, 93, so forth, they all talked about the year 1995. So this, yes, sir. And this, so when the minister came out with, when he came out with the saying about the Million Man March, I remember him actually calling it out, and everybody, ooh, we was getting excited and all that, and then immediately I started thinking about what everybody was talking about, 1995. So at that time, brother, we were just ready to go to war. We was pumped up thinking that it was going to happen. It was going to go down. And I remember when we got there, we didn't get no sleep that night at all, brother. Not at all. And that morning, we got up and everybody was pumped up. It was like we was getting ready for a football game, bro. We was geeked up, ready to go, because we actually thought in our minds that the devil was going to try something. But we was ready for it. We was all ready for it. We just knew we was going out there to either fight or die. Either one, we didn't care. So when during the Million Man March, I'm not going to lie, the West Coast, we were positioned in the back near the Lincoln Memorial, and wasn't nothing going on. We got out there about 4 in the morning. It's cold, brother. It was cold. but we were so geeked up that it really didn't bother us. And so we were drilling, and we weren't seeing anybody coming. So we actually started losing hope. And they moved us. I forgot exactly what time it was. We actually moved. I knew it was after prayer time, but we started moving forward. They took the West Coast, and they said they were going to move us on the stage. So we at that, in my mind, I'm thinking that it really wasn't a success, because at the back part still wasn't filled. We couldn't see anybody. So as we started moving forward, we started seeing all these people like, whoa. And as we were moving through, but our heart started beating real fast because we started seeing people hanging in trees, out on top of roofs and everything. And we were moving. And as we were moving forward, everybody was yelling, clear out the way, FOI coming through. I'm talking about these regular brothers.
Yes, sir.
And you just started to see just opening up, brother, as we were coming through. And when we got on the stage, as a live bear me witness, I never had that much fear in my life. All you saw was just it was like an actual sea, brother, of black men. Just, you could just see them just wave. And when they cheered, it was like a big roar. And I don't know if you ever, I know pretty sure you're a youngster, so being in a car with a lot of bass,
yes, sir. Yes,
how
sir.
it makes your heart pound. That's the way my heart was pounding, feeling this. And when I saw it, I couldn't hear any instructions coming. I'm not going, no lie, I couldn't hear any instructions coming from the captains, lieutenants, or wherever. I was just amazed, and my eyes just started watering up. And it was like, man, you were seeing brothers when they had to go to the restroom, you start actually seeing them being lifted up or going across. And it was just, brother, you saw brothers teaming up with each other, praying. It was just the most beautiful thing that I ever saw in my life. And I don't think I would ever see anything that beautiful again. It was, man, brother. I mean, we didn't get any sleep that night, but we didn't feel it until that night. But we were so pumped up and so amazed. Brother, I mean, we wore, we didn't want to take our uniforms off, so we wore them on the airplane going back. There was a flight attendant, and she forgot all about her job because she just wanted to sit down with us and talk and ask. She asked us questions nearly the whole flight, sitting down. And the white flight attendants was like, what is she doing? And she was just in tears. It's like, brother, and I'm telling you, it was the most amazing thing. We were so pumped up. And I got to tell this story right here, though, brother. After the march, me and another brother's name was Brother Michael 3, we were going pushing up at Venice Beach. And as we were walking up, there was some Arab brothers. But they were Arabs, but they were kind of dark, but they were Arabs. And they came over there to us. And we were trying to sell. They saw the paper, they saw the final call. And they was like, Badagan. And we was like, yes, sir. They was like, oh, they was just like, just pretty much praising us. Brother, I literally thought they were going to start get down and kneeling to us, brother, the way they were acting. And they just started buying everything we had, brother. And I was like, oh. But that experience, brother, I'm telling you, is not an experience like it. It won't happen again until we make it happen, brother. That experience was something for us to see, given to us by Allah. It was an actual glimpse of heaven. As the final call that came, that was a glimpse of heaven, brother.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. And then people in the comments showing love all across the country. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. My sister's name is all praises to Allah. Please let us know what city you all are watching from. My question for you, sir, Brother Jeffrey, is people who were in, especially in LA, Chicago, major cities with gang culture, were you ever nervous that you would see someone from a rival gang once you were in the nation that didn't that didn't accept or respect your change that you were a Muslim now?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. There was a time that I actually, when we would go push, I would actually be nervous about somebody recognizing me because they used to recognize everywhere. I remember, no matter where I went, people would recognize and I actually thought that, somebody didn't like it. That hate is so, what I'm saying, the depth in people's heart that I thought that maybe they didn't care that I was out here, suited and booted. I didn't, I actually thought that. But then as time went on, the fear was removed. There was still a lot of hate in my heart that I had to get rid of. They would ride up, but that too was removed. And I had to, as the minister was speaking to us, he would constantly let us know we're brothers, we're brothers, and that really had to set in. And it was a lot of trauma, brother, a lot of trauma that still to this day goes through, because I actually Allah blessed me to bring a friend of mine in, that he was my brother. We rode everywhere together. We did everything together. And Allah blessed me to get him in. And he's in a wheelchair. And he was shot by a guy from around the corner from rival gang. And the question was asked to him, by being in the nation now, could he actually forgive the brother? And he sat for a long time thinking about it. And he said the only way that he could forgive him is that if he came and, and accepted these teachings. That's what he said, brother. And I looked at him, and the thing was, I understood what he was saying because I was there when, during that time. And I actually thought he was dead, and of course there was things that happened, and that's, but he was real dear to me at the, and from the time when we were about 19, we were about 19 years old at the time when he got shot, and he's been in a wheelchair ever since. To just think about his pain and his suffering that he's been going through while, being in the chair, I felt it. And I can understand. And it's sad, some people may say, oh man, you got to get over that. No. It's going to take the mercy of Allah to actually go into his heart to have him get over that. That's what we have to understand, the pain, brother, that a lot of the brothers are experiencing from that. It's pain. It's an deep in emotion that why it's still going on. So, it's going to take a whole lot of work and has to be some understanding. You know what I'm saying? And we have to go into our brothers with the heart of Allah. If we don't, then all of that talking, telling them they got to stop, all that's not going to look, brother. I've been in this nation for almost 30 years, 29 years this year. It hasn't stopped yet. It hasn't stopped yet. So we got to go in there because I'm a witness that it works. The teachings works. I'm a witness. I see other brothers, in LA and Compton. They're witnesses that these teachings work. These teachings work. We just got to be able to, we got to be good seed planters, brother. We just can't be throwing the seeds out there. No, we got to go plant the seeds with the heart of Allah, just like the minister did us. That's the only way that it's going to work. The only way that it's going to stop. Other than that, it's not going to stop.
Yes, sir. You teaching, Brother Jeffrey, and may Allah, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we thank Allah for you and your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family for standing 10 toes down with helping us to establish Islam here in North America. We thank you, Brother Jeffrey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. I thank you, and I thank your father, brother. You know, who was the supreme captain at the time, brother. The things that he shared with me. I mean, it was some things that there's some stories that I can actually share right now that he actually pulled me through. He pulled me through things with my father who I never knew, but I always had in my mind that I wanted to kill him. You know, literally because of the things that he did to my mother. You know, that's all I heard growing up from my mother, from my sisters, about the things that he did. But there were some things that your father shared with me that actually brought me to a real deep understanding of what could have actually been going on, things that I wasn't able to see between my mother and him. So that he actually eased my heart, eased my mind with that, amongst other things. And also, this was during the time, I was in during the time with Dr. Khalid, the situation with Dr. Khalid. He actually helped me with that because I'm not going to lie, brother. We were given the charge of protecting him after he got shot. And I'm really still fresh, freshly into the nation, and I've heard Dr. Khalid say some things that I really didn't need to hear. And it was actually me and Captain Shahid that went and picked him up from the hospital. No, I'm sorry, we picked him up from the hotel. We picked him up from the hotel with some brothers that brought him from the hospital to the hotel. Me and Shahid went and picked him up from the hotel and brought him over to Captain Shahid's home. And that's where he stayed. And he was so angry, brother, that he was saying things that I really didn't need to hear. And it was a lot of negative things towards the brotherhood and everything and it was like my mind was really lost. I was really lost, brother. And I remember, brother, when I went and opened the door, it was your father and a few more brothers. And he came in and checking to see what was going on. They had a little talk, things like that. And before he left, and he just, looked at me dead in my eyes. And he told me to stay strong. Said, keep your eyes open, brother. And he said, stay strong. And he just from that, it comforted me. It really did comfort me because I knew the type of brother your father was because listening to him. And it really comforted me. So I've really been a fan of his for a lot of years, brother, a lot of years. Then I ended up in Atlanta, and then he came to Atlanta. Brother, you talking about excited that he was going to be the minister of Atlanta. Brother, I knew everything that was going wrong was going to get straight.
Beautiful. And people show you love all across the country. But Jeffrey, we're gonna double back to that Dr. Khalid question. But first, we have a experience. We have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast, and thank everyone who's watching all across the country and continues to show love to the People's Podcast. One second, here we go.
Brother Rashad Street Premiere. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Raw Communications. If you're working on a book and you need copy, editing, project management, content development, or media relations, please reach out to Raw Communications. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad's Conflict Mediation, squashing the beast throughout the Southwest region. He does a phenomenal job. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad's Giving Birth to a God and the Science of Child Rearing. Please make sure you go out and get a copy of her book as well. Fashion Gods, urban streetwear clothing for men and boys. 314-329-6009. He'll keep you dressed in the best of fashion. Brother Kenneth's Bow Tie Maker Extraordinaire. He'll ship you bow ties anywhere across the nation. Taj Hollywood's Chemistry 6 episode, a new television series out on YouTube. He's looking for actors and writers. Make sure you support him. Keep It Hood, helping others overcome depression. Also by Taj Hollywood. Brother Aaron's Elevated Places, stress management, real estate, credit, repair, and restoration. His Respect for Life Center. They do personal wellness, philosophy, emotional, and mental spiritual wellness. 229-344-1474. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services, out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon. If you would like to donate or sponsor, please cash out the People's Podcast.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you all to the sponsors, and thank you, Brother Jeffrey. We're right back to you, sir. Okay,
Yes,
so let's go back.
thank you.
Yes, sir. So Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad is shot. You get the phone call, Captain Shahid, you're all saying y'all going to do security on him. Were you nervous that maybe your life will be in danger?
No, sir. I wasn't. I was actually excited, brother. You know, you gotta understand, brother. Coming off the streets and being around a brother like Shahid, brother. You know, any type of military maneuvers, brother. It was exciting. So there was no fear. But I knew I loved the teachings. I loved the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and when he actually, when we got to him, brother, when we got into his room, he had the pistol on the dresser, and I'm looking like, wow, you know, I know what I heard from the teachers. You know what I'm saying? I know the way we were taught as brothers. And I'm looking at him doing total opposite. And hearing the things that I heard from him, brother, it was like, I mean, that wasn't the only time that I actually heard some negative things. I mean, when the ministers speak about Malcolm X, I understand totally what he's saying. It was like a tear, because you gotta understand, on the West Coast, we love Dr. Khalid. We love him, brother, because he spoke hard. He spoke street, you know, and it appealed to us. If you understand, it was Dr. Khalid who brought in Q. So all of us, brother, we love to hear that talk. You know, we love to see the fearlessness that he showed when the Jews were trying to back him in the corner. He wouldn't let them. I mean, I'm actually right there looking at him, talking about, you know, going to the devil's face, telling him to call for his death now. He right there by him, you know, and the devil bowing down. You stop talking the way he was talking. You seeing all of this, you don't speak. You like, what? You know what I'm saying? So I'm loving this. I love him, but you know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was our leader.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when you come and talk, down, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. And there was another time in our mosque where, I'm really new into the mosque, right, into the teachings. And I was at the front door post and he was speaking at our mosque. And him and Minister Samad came out. And Dr. Khalid kept saying, I know I shouldn't be, I don't know if I should be saying these things, but, all praises due to Allah, may Allah be pleased with our brother. But these were things that happened. And I feel that maybe we need to hear these things because there's some stands that we're going to have to make coming soon. Really, brother. He was complaining about, what we just heard in Chicago. So this really hits on that point. He was complaining about the money that was made. It was his. He brought the people. He deserved the money. And Minister Samad was like, no, sir. He said, that's Muhammad's money. And he kept and the minister was standing his ground. And brother Leroy, may Allah be pleased with him, brother. Brother Leroy, man, that's my brother. Brother was always, he's a soldier, brother. Always thinking about duty. He came out and he said, brother, he whispered in my ear. He said, no matter what, we protect the minister of the mosque. Just like that, brother. So right then when he told me that, Stuart, I was there, brother, ready for anything to happen. Protecting our minister. And it was crazy to actually, think about going through that, but it was the situation, brother, that I believe that inshallah it won't, but we don't understand. We don't understand actually what's going to happen. I want to say this, speaking on that, if you don't mind, brother.
Of course.
After the Million Man March, I remember the minister, we had a call out and the minister was speaking to us through the phone. You know how we used to have call outs and he spoke to the phone. We didn't have internet and all that stuff back then, brother.
Okay.
So, yes, and he was speaking to us and a lot of brothers will remember him saying this. I forgot the percentage that he actually said, but he said that percentage was actually going to fall away. And we were like, no, sir, no, sir. Well, you know how we get excited. But after he said this, you start seeing things happen in each and every one of our lives. The devil was actually making moves that we didn't see. So it started affecting a lot of our emotions that we didn't see, actually coming. But it actually happened where a lot of us actually fell away. We didn't fall away. It was like the minister, how he said that the messenger told him that he wouldn't fall away completely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's exactly what happened to us. We didn't fall away completely. We always loved his teachings, but we actually fell away. Little by little, things started happening. Little by little, the emotions started clouding our vision of where we were supposed to go. And when I came back, I actually came back in Atlanta. And when I started talking to brothers who were around at that time, a lot of them were just coming back. And I started thinking about what the minister said about us actually falling away. But Allah, all praises due to Allah, he was allowing us to come back, brother. And we were coming back stronger than what we were. I remember you were fascinated with my drilling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was in there, I had on some regular clothes with some All-Stars on. And I won the Muhammad Says, and you were like, but it was always in me, bro. But what saying that, I'm saying that I know we're excited and we pumped up and we really feel that we won't fall away. You know, we geeked up about it. No. Instead of being like this, we need to be like this.
Mm.
That's exactly what's going to be needed, brother, when the minister leaves. We have to be praying, brother. We have to be praying that a lot keeps us focused. We can't stay focused. We got to understand that the minister have told us, man, we have to know who our enemy is. That's the biggest part, brother. We have to know who he is. So when we know who he is, we recognize that we can't handle him. Allah made him for him to handle. So if he made him for him to handle, it's time for us to just get behind Allah and stay prayerful, brother. Stay prayerful. And that's the way that we're going to make it through. That's the only way that we're going to make it through.
Beautiful teaching, Brother Jeffrey. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, great. Brother Jeffrey, my next question is, what has been your greatest joy in life, sir?
Islam, brother. I had no other joys, brother. But you know, other than through Islam, brother, I have my children. You know, there's been no other joy, brother. Other than that, brother, brother. Like I said, I was telling you, I was in and out of jail, fearing for my life here and there, brother. That's all it was about. That's all it was about, day to day. So, man, Islam has been my biggest joy, brother. I ain't left yet. It's been 29 years. I fell away a little bit, but I haven't left.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, Brother Jeffrey, what about your investment? You're talking about buying land.
Yes, sir.
Why is that something that you're passionate about?
Because this is something that's been on my mind for ever since, I would say right after the Million Man March. It was an experience, brother, that I had. We were, me and my wife at the time, we were living in a place called the Jungles, you know, where the Training Day was filmed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We lived there and we stayed in apartments along with some other believers. And it was really the best feeling I've had in Islam, knowing that, you know, there's all the sisters there. There was Sister Valerie, who's out of LA. Her and her family stayed there. Brother Michael, 3 and his family, they stayed right downstairs. And there were some other Muslim families gathered around, not just in that apartment building, but around over the whole neighborhood. And we would all, you know, get together and do things. And when we went out to push or work or whatever, we were secure that our wives was secure with each other. So, you know, we didn't have to worry about that. It was just a feeling during Savior's Day, during other times, you know, we actually, during the Holy Day of Atonement, we would get together and do things. It was a park that was right up the street in a little cul-de-sac that, you know, we actually used to go to. And the brothers there, all the Bloods that was there, they respected us. And they was our actual security, brother. And they respected the sisters, I mean, with all respect. You know, you could see them actually putting away their cigarettes, putting away their weed whenever the sisters would come by. And we would go up there and we would play at the park with them, you know, and they just enjoyed it, brother. It was just heaven. It was a little heavenly experience that I had. So throughout the 20 some odd years, I was actually thinking about what if we had, you know, got together and instead of seeing Muslims coming from over here, coming from over there, coming from here, sisters being, you know, unchaperoned going home. You know, we had incidents where sisters were being robbed, you know, being disrespected here, being disrespected there, you know, because they had to go to their home alone at night. And so all of these things were bringing out that what Allah was putting in me about us having our own community in which we live, so we can practice our Islam safely, and it always been there. So I remember talking about it with the brother Warren out of Atlanta, and as soon as I was literally, brother, I'm not going to lie, I was running away from it because how I thought about myself, belittling myself, that this really couldn't happen through me, So when Allah had me tell it to Brother Warren, and Brother Warren was so excited that it actually scared me, brother, because I saw that he was really getting ready to start making moves on it, right? And but as we started it, brother, the fear went away, and I heard a clipping. I actually saved this clipping from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and it talked about thoughts. When he said that thoughts is something that's given to you by Allah. It's not no coincidence, So this is something. These are something that thoughts and ideas. These are gifts from Allah. But he said that if you don't act on it, you can actually bring these thoughts and ideas into fruition. When you plan and then work it out, it could actually be something that come about. And so I knew right then and there that there was no stopping this. This was something that has to happen. And as time went on, the way everything started coming out, if you listen to the whole plan of it, it's like it is a gift from Allah. This is something, because you've heard us talk about the teachings a lot. So we expect people to just automatically come. And if they don't come, we expect the only other thing that we have to offer them is the chastisement of Allah. No. We have to show, what I'm saying? There was something that I talked about the brothers on the street. One thing that really I saw some inspiration from was when I used to go out there in the streets. You saw brothers pushing on the corner. You saw that. And but we never saw people come amongst us and talk with us. I used to go and do that, brother. I didn't care how deep they were, brother. I'm telling you, I've been out when they be 50, 100 deep, brother. And I would just go out there by myself, just go and start talking to them. And they would all gather around, man, and just start listening. And if we did that constantly, it would actually change things overnight amongst us, especially amongst the youth. We need to concentrate on the youth, because what they see is what they see every day, and that's what they want to be like. Really, Mel feeling in the song. I know you don't hear that don't like that old school, brother. I hear you when talk about the young. But if you go listen to those words from Melly Mel, brother, in the message, the last verse, that last verse, brother, it was deep, because that's all they see. So that's what they want to be like. So if the things that came to me about this is that we're not going to just be talking the teachings. We're going to put the teachings into action. So everything about the business that we're about, it's about doing the instructions that were given to us by our leaders. So we're going to go out and we're going to buy land. First thing, the instruction that was given to us from Master Prophet Muhammad, set yourselves in heaven at once.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we're going to get a community of our own, putting ourselves in heaven. And after we do that, we're going to work. We want to set up businesses to where they're going to go and operate in the community, getting the whole community not just the ballers, not just the people with big money, but each and every brother and sister to invest. You talk about putting stores, getting the Asians and Arabs out of our community because they own all of the stores. No, if we get everybody to invest, I don't care if it's $5, $10, whatever, invest into buying up the store, buying up the grocery markets, the farmers markets. If we get everybody involved in this, then we can actually start taking over our community, making our community safe. You see what I'm saying? And building up and stop get this, how the white man is coming into our communities and buying up property, rebuilding, and then making it so high that our people have to move out, and they call it gentrification. No, we want to do those same things, but make the homes still affordable for our people. And not only that, how good would it feel to live in a place that you actually own a part of by having them invest in their own prosperity, brother? Beautiful. So that's actually what we're going to be. We want to start the ball rolling with the company. The company is going to actually start, and then we're going to start pulling, gathering the hands of our people, going to churches, going to mosques, study groups, going to Black organizations. And then from that point, we want to start going to the little brother and sister on the corner, pulling them in and getting involved in business, teaching them about business. And whatever tools and views that they have, put it forth, towards their future. So that's what we were doing. That's what Supreme Investors. That's why we're supreme, brother. Supreme, because we are working the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
All praise due to Allah. Brother Jeffrey, how can we support, and how can people who are watching and will watch contact you?
Basically, I give my phone number over. It's 870.
Yes, sir.
870 413-0361. That's my own personal line, brother. Or you can reach us on our website at Supreme Investors Land, SupremeInvestorsLand.com.
Oh, praise due to Allah. Excellent. Well, Jeffrey, we have two more questions for you, and thank everybody who's watching all across the country. What is I got love for old school hip hop, Brother Jeffrey. You think I got no love for old school hip hop?
Yes, sir. I know you do, brother.
I'm just saying, when I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall. I'm back in my mind, my conscious call. I know a little bit about it. Brother Jeffrey, but what is your favorite album of all time?
My favorite album?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, okay. Now you hit me now, brother. Man, really, as far as album, it has to be the first album by Eric B. and Rakim. It has to be. I know you saying, "Oh, that's a West Coast brother." Nah, brother, that album was hitting. It's between actually, brother. It's between him and the person that he was having rivals with. EPMD, that first album, brother. That song when you got to chill, brother. That used to hit hard in my Regal, brother. They used to hit hard, brother.
Because I definitely thought you was going to say MCA, NWA, or DOC or something West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
I mean, I loved Eazy-E's tune, back in the days, but nah.
DJ Quick, you said you was in Red, so I'm assuming you was going to say.
Oh man, we heard a lot of DJ Quick. That album, we actually, because our hoods was near each other.
Yes, sir.
So all the bloods in around that time, brother. We actually heard all of that years before on the underground scene, brother. We was having that stuff bumping in our car back in. It came out in '91, but we was hearing it like in '88, '89. But yes, sir. But that I'm telling you, the hardest. I mean, you got. Check out my melody, brother. You got Eric B. as the president. Things used to hit, and the way he was rhyming, brother, was before his time, brother. Nobody heard all of that like that. But before you get into it, my most favorite rapper, Melly Mel, brother. Melly Mel, because he actually started talking about the streets before anybody, brother. He was, and everybody was at that time was talking about party rap. But he came out, brother. It's called survival. Only the strong will survive. Brother, please, brother.
You put me on. I'm not up on Melly Miller. You put me on right now. I'm not up on him.
Oh, brother, you got to go back and check out, brother.
Yes, sir.
That's the Flash of the Furious 5, brother. You got to go check him out.
You put me on. I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar. You teaching me right now. Yes, sir.
Yeah, brother, don't look at the way they were dressing, brother. Because you would actually literally think they were gay, brother, by the way they were dressing. Yes, but they was coming hard, bro.
Okay, well, Brother Jeffrey, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Yeah, say it again.
What would you like your legacy to be?
My legacy, honestly, brother, Allah. There is no other entity, brother, besides Allah. If I'm striving to be him, what other legacy could I be looking forward to, brother? That's the only legacy. That's the only, literally, brother. I mean, I'm saying this out of the serious of my heart. That's what I'm striving to be. And if I'm striving to be that, brother, I gotta be selfish. It'll be actually selfish, brother, for me to think of anybody to think of me in any other way. It's Allah.
All praises due to Allah. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Excellent, Brother Jeffrey. And once again, thank everybody who's watching. About to put this on YouTube. Thank you again for taking time out of your schedule on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. Thank you, beloved.
Thank you again, Brother Jeff.
Yes, sir.